Good day, this is the Writing Theatre. My name is MAJAAGUN, OYINKANSOLA, and today we'll be discussing writing for broadcasting. I'm not doing this alone, I'm doing this with my co-host, SHOBUKOLA OLUWATOBI.
Thank you. Today we are meeting with Mr. Ambrose Olutayo Somide. He's a radio and TV presenter. He is the managing director at DAAR Communications and is the originator of FAAJI FM. It is so nice to meet you, sir.
Thank you very much. So nice to see you and so nice to be here.
Thank you so much. So, as a renowned presenter, sir, how important is script writing to a successful broadcast presentation?
Well, it's like asking how important is salt to a good soup. And it's like asking how good oil is to an afang or an eforiro. You cannot have a good meal, a good soup, if you don't have those ingredients. And you cannot have a good presentation if you don't have a guiding script. And if there's anything we keep emphasizing to presenters, especially those that are just, joining, budding presenters, is the fact that you cannot be a very good presenter if you don't have a script. Because radio really is about storytelling. Just as TV is about storytelling. How do you tell stories? Yes, you can have the picture of what the story that you want to tell. You can have the picture in your head. But if you don't put search on paper, on scripts, you run the risk of repeating yourself, missing your line, mixing tenses, and then you're also prone to errors. And you have the problem of mannerism that should not go on radio. The mannerism of, I mean, I think. If you have a guidance script, you run through your script. But it's not only about having that script, it's about knowing how to deliver the script. And we call it lifting it up the page like a pro, like an actor on a stage. You must learn the art of lifting your script off the page in such a way that the person listening at home does not have that feeling or does not get the impression that you are reading from a script. You must be able to lift it. Scripting helps you to put your thoughts together in a concise, progressive manner. And there's so many art and elements that involve script writing. It's not something that you can just talk about. Anything you do on radio or on TV rests solely on how good the script that you have prepared is. So scripting is very, very vital, germane, important to radio, to TV, to theater, to entertainment, to everything. If you look at the TV and you see the interviewer is following a script, if you listen to radio or if you watch, let's say an Ashake on stage, he was at the O2 Arena, you saw him on stage, he must follow a script. Because the director, the cameraman, the audio man, all of those people that are behind the scene will have to follow that script. If it goes off the script, if anybody along that chain goes off that script, you will have a poor show. So scripting helps us and guides us through. And there are 3 stages on any radio show or any television show: the beginning, the middle, and the ending. And it's like the aeroplane and the pilot. The aeroplane needs to chart its path all through its journey. It checks the weather, it checks everything to ensure that the engine is running and everything. And then you get into the cockpit, and your script and your chart plan, your flight path, and everything that you have studied will enable you to maintain the altitude, and then will ensure that you land so well. That is the essence of scripting on radio.
Thank you very much, sir, for that insight. So that means it is important for a broadcaster, like, or somebody that is in the broadcast industry, to know how to write a script, because sometimes we hear things like, okay, I know how to talk, but I don't know how to write. What, like, how do you advise people that have such idea that?
I think it is in this age of proliferation of media houses where you have so many radio stations with half-baked presenters coming on board that you hear, I know how to talk, I don't know how to write. One of the key elements of getting on radio when we were joining radio is that you must know how to write a script. You must go through the rudiment. You cannot be a presenter without being a producer. And so you must know how to write your script. You will not go on air. In the old radio that we knew, to even give a time check, you want to say the time is 2 o'clock. You must script it, you must write it, because your bosses want to see what you have written and everything that you are going to say or you have said on radio. You must have a file for it. You must have a file for it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So what sparked your interest in presentation, seeing that you studied urban and regional planning at the university?
I have been a presenter on radio. I've been in radio before I went to study urban and regional planning. And, I grew up way back listening to radio. My father used to have a small transistor radio that he listened to, Radio Nigeria, Ibadan, and later BCUS and maybe OGBC, that he listened with. And growing up around him and listening to stations, listening to people, reading the news, I've always wanted to, be like those people that we grew up hearing on radio. And so I think that sparked my interest to say, okay, I want to be like these people. And, growing up in Abeokuta and being exposed to music, being exposed to drama and all of that, I always wanted to be an entertainer. And so when I finished secondary school, that was the first thing that I did before going to so I joined radio right after secondary school before going to the university. And so when I went to university, I studied urban and regional planning. And my calling, so to say, was broadcasting and journalism and entertainment. So it was so easy for me to go back to it, and that's where I have been for over 30 years, going to 40 years.
That's inspiring. Thank you, sir. So, sir, what really inspired you in Jojo?
My journey in broadcasting started from Radio Nigeria. I was in the newsroom. Later, I moved on to the programs department. And one of the programs that I handled was a Yoruba program that had to do with interviewing people and all of that. Kileroyin, we called it. And when I left Radio Nigeria and moved to OGBC, I was presenting a program called MAJAAGUN, which was a musical interactive entertainment program. And after we left and started Ray Power here in 1993, and we were designing the program, we thought, okay, what program can we do that can ride on the popularity that I have earned and gained way back in OGBC? Because way back then, OGBC was about the leading radio station in this environment before the advent of Ray Power. So having left that, what program could carry that audience and entertain the audience across the spectrum and across the classes, possibly of ABCD in Lagos and across Southwest. So we designed Benny Jojo as a program that people can listen while they are at work and then learn from and also be part of. And so that was how Benny Jojo was launched. Benny Jojo was a corruption of a word called Mijojo in Egun. It's a corruption of Egun language, Benny Jojo. So if you ask me if it has any Yoruba interpretation, no. It was
because I was about to ask that.
Yeah, it was a corruption of the word Mijojo. Mijojo, I think, in Egun means enjoyment, pleasure, and all of that. So we just since it wasn't an Egun program that we were doing, it was a Yoruba program, we wanted something that can connote that, and so we just took that, and then that was it.
Thank you, sir. So stay tuned with us as we go on a short break.
Welcome back. This is Studio Writing Theatre. As you heard from our guests, you can't be a good presenter if you're not a good producer. I think that's a very key point you have to take with you. So moving on to our next question. Sir, what planning strategy do you use when planning a program?
The first thing is that, what do you want to achieve with the program? What's the philosophy of that program? You have to first of all understand that. Then you have to have in mind who you want to reach. Who is your audience? Who is your public? Who are you trying to reach? What is the program designed for? And who is it designed for? That will now inform your planning. What are the things that you need on the program? Is it a phone? Is it an interactive program? Is this something in this modern age? Do you need the social media, the other elements of the social media to be part of that program? All of that will go into your planning and the strategy to go about it. Don't forget that I said part of your planning, which is very, very key, is your scripting. You cannot write a script if you don't research your subject. Researching your subject falls into two categories. What are you discussing? Are you discussing childbirth, pregnancy? Are you discussing COVID-19? Are you discussing music? Do you need a guest? Do you need an expert? Do you need somebody to be part of that program? That will form part of your planning, process. If you need to research more, you have to do that. What are the sources of your research? Is it journals? Are you going on the internet? Are you talking to other people in that field before you bring your guest in? Because it will be, you'll be doing a great disservice to yourself and to your audience if you don't have knowledge of the topic that you're discussing. I would have expected that in coming to interview me, you would have researched me too as a subject. Even though your program, the philosophy of this interview is the import of scripting, but you also need to know who your guest is.
Okay, so I would have expected that coming to interview me, apart from having knowledge of the subject that you want to deal with, which is scripting for radio and the import of scripting for radio, you should also research your guest, who is also another subject. And the essence of researching your subject is to know his views, what he has done, who he represents, and what he represents. So that when you are talking to him, you are not talking out of ignorance. If it drives you to one area, you already know what he's talking about. And if he's driving you off course, you can always call him back. Those are things that you need to know before you go into any program. So those are the strategy. Know your subject, research your subject, know the philosophy of the program, know the principle that guides whatever you are doing, and know the element that will go into that program. And then that will enable you to drive your program through easily. And don't forget, all of these must form a part of your script. Form a part of your script so that will guide you all through.
So you have told us like how the importance splits in like it is a no-go area, it's the most important part of a good business.
Yeah.
So where does the place of talent comes in? Like how does a good program, how does a presenter makes a program like up there? How does it get the attention of the people and retain that attention to the end of the program?
Okay, good. I've told you about scripting. Talent is nothing without a script on radio. You can have the talent of talking, but are you talking sense? They say, you hear on radio, they say, more music, less talk. It is not that people don't like talk. what people like is quality talk. It is not that people don't like jokes on radio. What they don't like is dirty, uninspiring jokes, or jokes that are not, that are so unrelated to whatever. So it's not about the talk or the talent. It's about how you are putting that talent to use. You must know your subject. You must know the people you are talking to. You must live in their world. You must not talk above them. You must reflect their mood. You must reflect the mood. You must be in charge. You can only be in charge if you know what you're doing. You must be present and be conscious. Presence does not mean you're just in the studio, you're just on radio. Are you really present in your state of mind? Do you even know what's happening around you? And if not only in the studio, do you know what's happening in your environment? Do you know? And are you abreast of developments around the world? You go on radio and you put up a discussion show, possibly about food, about eating right, about good diets. And somebody comes to say, how can you eat good? How can you eat fine? How can you eat good food? How can you eat right? In this economy, do you know what the removal of fuel scarcity is talking about? And now the president is want to fight Niger Republic. Is that what we need now? Now, you are discussing food and eating well. The person is already taking you off course. If you don't have the presence of mind and you don't have the grasp of what's happening around you and being conscious of this thing, he will take you off. That means you are not a good pilot. That means you have allowed the turbulence to take over. And once the turbulence takes over your plane, you are going to crash. That program will crash. So you must be conscious to be able to quickly drive the listener back to say, sorry, we're talking about good eating right and we're talking about quality food. We know that the economy is bad and that will also affect the quality of food. But let's not go into the area of politics. I am very sure that you are aware that it's not Nigeria that is levying war on Niger. It is the Economic Community of West African States, which comprises of so number of states in West Africa. So it's not a unilateral decision of Nigeria. Yes, Nigeria is closely related to Niger because we share border, but this decision is not about. So you quickly steer the discussion back. If the presenter is just talented, but is not trained, does not have the presence of mind, does not live in the world of the listener, you will lose it. And so we see many presenters. I have the talent to talk. I can talk now. The fact that you can talk in the barber shop, the fact that when you talk in the hairdresser's shop, everybody listen, you talk in the mechanic shed, and everybody laugh, does not make you a very good on-air person, does not make you a very good presenter. You must be trained. Yes, you have the talent, but you must be trained and you must imbibe the principles of broadcasting. You must know the business of broadcasting, and you must know the business of broadcasting and broadcasting as a business. You must know the difference. If you don't know the difference as a presenter, you just be there. You just be one of the.
Sir, do you mind, giving us one or two differences between what you just said now?
You have to pay. Let me just say, the business of broadcasting basically is to entertain, inform, and just like journalism, inform, entertain, and then educate, and all of that. And we have extended it to show business because before now, radio was just inform, entertain, and educate. But there's an extension. The show business aspect of it is now part of what radio and television does. So that is the business of radio. But the aspect of radio or TV as a business is something that the would-be presenter, producer, manager, lecturer need to know. Gone were the days when government used to fund radio. When governments were funding radios, federal, state government were funding radio. Radio's business was to inform, educate, and entertain and all of that because they were funded. So you only manage the money given to you by government. You are not profit oriented. You don't care about profit because there will always be fund, budgetary provision by the government yearly. But with the advent of private initiative in broadcasting, where people now set up a radio station and nobody's giving you subvention, nobody's giving you money, nobody is supporting you, you need to know the aspect of the business. That is, this thing is a business. Yes, I am to entertain, I am to inform, I am to educate, I am to go into show business. How do I do all of that and then remain in business to be able to continue to do this? So you must learn the aspect of business and making that thing profitable. So that's the difference. The business of radio is to entertain, educate, which you will be taught in school. The other aspect that you need to learn that people are learning is business aspect of radio, the business aspect of newspaper, the business aspect of TV, the business aspect of the social media too, because there's a lot of broadcasting or or narrowcasting or whatever casting that's going on the social media, and people are making money from it. So you need to know that as a business too. I hope that
Yes,
clarifies it. Yeah.
So do you think AI can take the place of presenters? Because we're now in a world where there's like prevalence of AI. Everybody, like I have an AI on my phone that can answer any question at any time. So do you think this new technology, like technology in years to come, maybe not now, will take the place of presenters in
The question is, can that AI that you have on your phone, can it replace you? Can it be you? Has it replaced your brain? No. Okay. Good as that technology, and good as technology is, and we have seen technologies come and go, grown over time since the advent of radio. Even when TV came, many people said television was going to outstage, upstage, and displace radio. But has it done that? Radio will always be there. It is the duty of radio and presenters, producers, and managers of radio to continue to ride on the possibilities and the opportunities presented by technology and the softwares and all of this. And all those innovations to expand the horizon, to expand the business of broadcasting. Right on it. Radio cannot die, TV cannot die. Even though you say, okay, why should I sit in front of TV for a very long time? Now people are deploying the technology to ensure that the big 12-inch screen, the big 35-inch screen, the big 50-inch screen are reduced to your small mobile phone screen so that you can have some of those things that you will sit down to watch on TV on your screen so that you can see it on the go. AI, good, brilliant, we use it. You ask any question, but can it provide all the answers? When you ask, it will tell you, I hope this helps. Yeah. Or is there another question you want to ask me? That means it cannot answer all the questions because the AI just goes to harness and harvest all the answers that people are provided, the manual answers that people are provided from across the world on different subjects to add it together, save it, process it, and then present it to you to use, which we know represent the true answer. It is making people lazy, but can the AI reflect the reality that people are going through, that people are hungry? You ask him, are people hungry in Nigeria? He will tell you, yes, a lot of people are hungry, but they say who feels it knows it. If you open the phone line, will AI answer the question that the average man on the street answer? So it is the duty of the presenter to reflect the reality of the lives of people by living in their world and reflecting their mood. AI can only help you. AI may not replace you. AI will answer the questions that you ask, just like any other search engines that we have seen and we have used in this thing. And I'm very sure that some like your lecturers will warn that they don't come and present the answer that AI as yeah, because if you copy and paste, your lecturers will have also used that AI too. So if you are we call it regurgitating what AI has given you to your lecturer, he will just mark you as, he will just strike it. He wants your own knowledge. How do you understand this thing? That is what he wants, and not what AI is telling you. I hope I'm reflecting the reality of what these lecturers are expecting.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a first question to have. So concerning scripting, what mistakes do you think presenters make when they are scripting? So what are the things we should note out for when writing a script? Don't do this, and this is what you should do.
Well, one of the key things is that one, write it, make it as simple as possible. Your grammar, this thing should be as simple as possible. The key element is about communicating with the audience, either TV or radio. When you use high-valuing words, when you use complicated words or complicated expressions, you want to sound big, or you not sound big, you want to sound, make people think that you have the knowledge, you know this thing, you will lose your audience. They will go for somebody that can speak the English and the language. Now, the question you should ask yourself is this: why are thematic stations that broadcast in Pidgin and Yoruba, why are they so popular? Why are they so popular as against some that speak English and English grammar and all of that? Because they speak the language that people can easily understand. And the people that can easily understand that language are in the majority. So if you are scripting and you are using the words that people have to quickly go take their dictionary or call somebody, so this person just used this language, now what is it talking about? Then you have lost them because they don't have that luxury. Radio is a blind medium. You are not seeing the person. In TV, as she is speaking, you can read the lips. Even if you are not hearing the word, you can read the lips and follow the lips, and then it also comes with pictures, so you can really relate and understand whatever he or she is saying on TV and maybe follow. But on radio, you don't have that luxury. You don't even know what's going on. The presenter is just reflecting, is just telling you what's happening, and they expect you to understand it and flow with them. So you must tell that story in such a way that you will not need to go and start carrying, looking for dictionaries, or you are not. His own thoughts are not lost in words, and your own understanding are not missing in words. So that's one thing. And they say keep it straight and simple. That's one. Keep it short and long enough. Long enough to cover the subject matter, but short enough to make it succinct and something that people can desire.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
You have really enlightened us. So our final question today is: what are your advices to upcoming journalists like us and our fellow students, people who look up to you, people who admire what you're doing in the broadcast industry? What are your advice to us?
You cannot make omelette without breaking an egg. You cannot become a good presenter if you don't go through the rudiments and through the training. Just like you've said, I have this talent and I want to go on radio. And you will see quite a number of people
that are just thrown on radio because they feel they can talk, and they are committing all kinds of manners of blunders. There are things that you don't say or do on radio or TV, and you see people doing it because they feel, okay, yes, I have the license and I can do anything. And then we have seen some of them run into problems, even with the government and with the law. Some are still getting away with it, but I know that maybe in due course, possibly, there will be, there will be a time when they will not be able to get away with some of the things that they do. So, you must be willing to learn. You must have a positive attitude. You must be somebody that is willing to listen, somebody that is willing to learn, someone that does not assume knowledge, somebody that is ready to unlearn and learn again, somebody that is ready to take correction, somebody that does not feel that because you go on radio and people are calling you to say, oh, we enjoy what you are doing, then you have arrived. No. I keep telling people that I train. You can go on radio today, put on your radio, put on your microphone and talk. And somebody somewhere will call you, oh, wow, what a nice voice. Ah, brilliant, we're enjoying you. It is that same people that are saying that. The day you commit a blunder, it is the same people that will take you to the cleaners. And then if you don't keep your head above the waters, if you don't keep your head on your shoulders, you just feel that, oh, you have arrived, and that will be the beginning of the downfall. So learn, and learn. Be humble. Be open-minded. Read well. Listen well. It is not everything that you see on the social media that is true. And as they say, Rome was not built in a day. You cannot become a superstar in one day, in 1 year. You must pay the price. You must go through the rite of passage. You must learn the ropes. And then if you are humble enough, calm enough, open-minded enough, the sky is the limit. As to what will happen to maybe the future of radio or the future of broadcasting with the so many number of radio and TV stations and all of that, in some climes, in some developed parts of the world, in a city of maybe about, in a city of, let's say, 5 million, 10 million, you can have close to 50, 60, 70 radio stations, and everybody will find a way of surviving. So I don't see broadcasting dying, even with the challenge of the social media, the AI, and all of that you're saying. But of course, we also as practitioners and media managers will have to also rise up to the challenge and lash on to the opportunities given and provided by those platforms, by those emerging technologies, to be able to expand at what we do on radio. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Such an honor to be under your wisdom.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, we've come to the end of the program. We still remain the writing theater. I hope you learn one or two. For me, one thing I'll take home is you can't be a good presenter if you're not a good producer, and do not assume knowledge. I remain MAJAAGUN OYINKANSOLA, and
I am SHOBUKOLA, OLUWATOBI. Do stay with us and meet us same time next time. Thank you.
time.